Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for being here with me tonight. I would like to share a tribute with you tonight. I believe so many people around the world build such strong and unbreakable bonds with their pets, and I think it's such an amazing relationship to have. I've owned two dogs in my past life, and there's one in particular that sticks out to me the most. This tribute tonight is a dog that is a pure breed beagle of the name of Jojo.
Pure breed.
Jojo was one unique dog, or in other words, a pain in the ass. I'm going to pass around a couple pictures to give you a better visual of what he looks like as I speak of him tonight. I don't know if any of you have loved an animal so much but also wanted to send it to the pound an unhealthy amount of times a week, but Jojo was the absolute definition of that. From the first day he arrived at our house to the last day he was no longer our dog, we loved, cherished, and protected him like any other sibling should. Tonight I would like to share some of my fondest memories and moments with Jojo that truly make him part of our family. The stories I have chosen tonight touch on all parts of his life, the cute, the funny, the annoying, and the sad. I thought it would be most appropriate tonight to start with the story of how my brother and I were introduced to Jojo. It was around Christmas time, and it was any other ordinary night my mother was picking us up from daycare. When we got in the car, she had informed us that we would be attending the zoo lights that evening. My brother and I were very unfond of activities such as the zoo lights, and our patience would never hold up. We walked into the door and we saw our dad sitting next to the Christmas tree by a cage with a big bow on top. Of course, our childlike instincts were to instantly run over to the cage to see what was inside. We looked down and there was a 2-palm-sized beagle with the 2 biggest eyes I've ever seen staring back up at us. That was the first night of many nights that we would share with that dog, and I honestly could not wait. Our family owned a small cabin up in the town of Kremlin, Colorado. We had quite a few acres to play on, and we would get snowfall like you wouldn't believe. Jojo absolutely loved to adventure around the property. He'd play in the snow and get lost, and the only thing you could see from him was the little tip of his tail. When he had enough adventuring around, he would come inside, and my brother and I would build a fireplace for him. He would cuddle on the same red and black checkered rug every single night. He was so cute and small in that little ball on that rug, it was almost impossible to not want to go and cuddle up next to him. Jojo was not always cute and cuddly all the time. He had one personality trait that absolutely drove our family insane. He could open up any cupboard or door imaginable. If there was something smelly or there was a trash can behind it, he was 100% determined to get to it. We tried everything to keep him out of those cupboards, from shock collars to child locks, but he would absolutely never learn. Jojo was not very fond of visitors that he did not know very well. We had a man that would come in to care for our hot tub in our town of Silverthorne, Colorado. One evening, Jojo was outside leashed on his leash, and a man approached Jojo, thinking that he would be sweet and cuddly to pet, but Jojo thought otherwise. Attacked this man and went after him, thinking that he was intruding in his space, sending the man running to the front door, calling animal control on us. My mother and I were also walking Jojo in the town of Arvada, and a neighbor of ours had approached us just to say hello. Jojo thought that this was also an intruder. He attacked the man's ankles, surprisingly not hurting him too much, sending the man away with no injuries, thank gosh. But some people like to think Jojo was an attack dog. I like to think he was just truly protecting us. Now, Jojo was quite the character. He even had a love for music. We had a piano that sat in our dining room, and every single time you touched one of those keys, that dog would come running in, howling, trying to match the note on that keyboard to the one that you were playing, and to the one in his howl. He would not stop for hours, and you could never get a minute of silence playing that keyboard. But it didn't matter. We're not really sure if he was singing along or if he just was howling at us for us to stop, but I thought he had a pretty good singing voice, so we continued. Jojo also loved to adventure around the neighborhood whenever possible. He was quite the con artist. He could escape from our backyard without anybody knowing. One night, he thought he had an invite from our neighbors for a dinner party out back they were having. He escaped, God knows how, and he went up to the neighbor's house, had an open grill out back, and stole the hamburger right off the stove. He didn't eat it then, and right as he was about to get caught, our neighbors called us, and we run outside, and there's JoJo, swinging his butt back and forth, trotting down the middle of the street with the hamburger still hanging out his mouth, like he was carrying it home to share for us for dinner time. I can't tell you how many smiles and frustrations that dog caused our family. But with a family as busy as ours, with sports and traveling almost 24/7, we couldn't give JoJo the companionship that we wish we could have. My mom thought it would be best to send him off with one of her friends that had 3 kids that could play with him on a daily basis. I came home from school one day and JoJo was no longer in our household. That was probably the saddest thing for me, was not being able to say goodbye to JoJo. Although I didn't get a last goodbye, I had so many memories that I cherished him that seemed to be so much more. JoJo was not the most well-trained dog, but if you ever needed a cuddle buddy or someone to vent to without any judgment, JoJo was your man. If you were ever scared or alone, he would allow you to squeeze you even if he hated it, because I know I did it almost all the time and he hated it. But I did it anyways, and he'd sit there and take it until I was done. Dogs are truly your best friends. They fill the spaces in your life that humans just can't seem to. JoJo was so well known by so many of our friends and family for being such a pain in the ass, but really the only thing that matters to me is that he's remembered. I thank you so much for reminiscing with me tonight on JoJo's past stories. I know he's one family member that will truly never be forgotten. Thank you.